Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right. News is out regarding the House Ethics Committee and Matt Gaetz. Now, in Matt Gaetz's benefit, it appears that the committee is closing out 4 investigations into him that that were previously being investigated. Let's see. Sorry, quick pause because I'm trying to find my place in the article here, and that actually took longer than I would like. The committee also announced it was no longer reviewing 4 other allegations involving the congressman, including that he shared inappropriate images or videos with colleagues on the House floor. So I guess it's okay for him to share pornographic images on his phone. Now, mind you, that was widely reported. Multiple sources, multiple people he showed it to. It was understood that's what he did. But maybe it doesn't fall under the ethics committee. Now, I could be wrong. All that reporting could be wrong, but it just didn't seem like it was the case. And it kind of fits the guy. Or that he accepted a bribe or converted campaign funds to personal use. So those 4 things got dropped. But they did say that their review is now including other items that cropped up due to their investigation, including if he engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, accepted improper gifts, and sought to obstruct government investigations of his conduct. They've even said that getting information from him is problematic and difficult. He's not exactly cooperating, in other words. So let's look at Mr. Gaetz here and the energy around him and what the ethics committee may or may not do with regards to him. Now, I think I've thrown on him in the past and came up with he was in deep doo-doo. I would have thought it would have happened with some of those charges that they dropped. But, we'll see. Entertainment purposes only. What's the energy around Matt Gaetz as this ethics panel continues its investigation into him for entertainment purposes only? We start off with the 7 of Swords. Talking about if it's not nailed down, he'll sneak off with it. He's a grifter just like Trump. Check for the Lincoln bust. If Matt Gaetz comes over to your house, you might want to count the pieces of silverware. He's crooked. He's crooked. He will do whatever he can. He'll try and get away with whatever he can. Now we've got this one, illicit drug use, accepted improper gifts, sought to obstruct investigations. Yeah, they're looking into his shady behavior. The guy's a deviant. And they just communicated that. Cross is the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands are things happening quickly, communication over airwaves. So they communicated 4 things that they were no longer investigating him for. I'm assuming that means that they could not find anything conclusive and they closed it out. But they did announce that they're looking into other things with him. So he's not out of the woods yet. Underneath it all is the 2 of Pentacles. It could be that with the items that they're dropping, it's not that there isn't evidence there. There's not enough evidence. Or it's not, it's kind of like you have hearsay. You have stories being told, but then it's a he said, she said type of situation. And how do you prove it? How do you prove he showed you a picture of pornography on his phone on the house floor? Oh, I saw it. He says he didn't do it. Well, I saw it. So now it's a credibility thing, and I think that's what's happening with the charges that were dropped, or the allegations that are no longer being investigated. They're not charges, really. I think they're just like, well, we really can't prove beyond like a reasonable doubt or a preponderance of the evidence. It's probably kind of 50-50-ish, and it's like, there's other things that we that we found as we're looking at these balls in the air is some balls drop, other balls take their place. Again, he's not out of the woods yet. In the past, you got the Queen of Swords. And Matt Gaetz has talked about this. Kevin McCarthy has talked about this. Kevin McCarthy said Matt Gaetz wanted this ethics probe to end. And Kevin McCarthy wasn't going to end it. So Matt Gaetz worked with 7 or 8 other people to get in all the Democrats. And then basically Kevin McCarthy got booted from his speakership and eventually resigned from Congress. But he's made enemies. And his enemies are out for blood. And they're not going to let him off the hook that easy. In other words, you want to play with the big boys, you want to be ruthless, well, they're going to be ruthless back. Current situation is the Page of Swords, where he might think that he owned McCarthy, and he did. He got McCarthy out of Congress. It comes at a cost. And the cost is that these investigations, you have some nascent investigations now beginning on your ill behavior. Now, Pages of Swords pages are young women. And, you know, we're talking about inappropriate relationships, I believe, is what, let's see, what are they, what's the new allegations again? Now includes sexual misconduct, illicit drug use, improper gifts, and obstructing an investigation. So now, you've got new stuff going on here. It's Matt Gaetz. What do you expect? This dude is just an overgrown frat boy who never grew out of college and has never really faced accountability for his terrible actions. More swords. God, he's got a sharp, pointy existence coming up here. Overarching energy is the Ace of Swords. This ethics committee, they're not going to stop until they draw blood. I have a sneaking suspicion they're not going to stop until they draw blood. Now, I am curious, with the items that they dropped, could it be that they dropped, maybe that'll be a good follow-up reading, could it be that they dropped it, not that they didn't have compelling evidence, but that it implicated other people they don't want to be rid of? Just throwing that out there. Corruption loves company, doesn't it? More swords. The lesson to be learned from your theft, your bad actions, the bad choices that you make that have consequences, the new investigations, the committee looking to basically find justice, is heartbreak and disappointment. Maybe it's the committee. I don't think it's the committee per se. It's just his actions are not that becoming of a mature adult who is concerned about his constituents and passing laws to make America a better place and his constituents better off through government or through governing. He does crappy things on the floor. And just to end this sword, the whole sword thing is the Ten of Swords. It's going to bring him down. This is going to bring him down. Now, it's funny because I believe he lives in a very protected red district, so they're always up for more MAGA all the time, but this could be one of those things that gets him removed from the Republican Party and maybe expelled from the House a la George Santos. What did Santos? Yes, I can't remember now if Santos resigned or got expelled. I think he was supposed to resign, but he made him vote to expel him. Maybe those two can have a beer together or something. Yeah, but God, all the swords. I don't think I've ever seen that. He's not, Matt Gaetz is not in a good way. Not even a little bit. Now, I'm curious, with the cases that they dropped against him, the bribery and such, What's the energy around the things that they dropped? Is that because they just didn't have enough evidence? They couldn't really prove it, like he said, she said type of thing? Is it because it's dragging somebody else down that they don't want to lose? This card wants to stay on top, so it gets to go on top. I'm curious. I hope you're curious too. We could be curious together. This card literally was bending up to want to be on top. So we're asking about the things that they dropped. And here we go. The whole thing about this is trying to keep all the balls in the air, and sometimes you have to drop those balls. Why did they have to drop those balls? The Chariot. I think because their investigation hit a dead end. It hit a dead end before they could get enough information to say, yeah, you did this or you didn't do this. So this is about progression here. Underneath it all is the Queen of Pentacles. But I think it's also about, it's both. I think part of it is they couldn't get enough information on this other than he said, she said, to keep this thing going. But this is, Queen of Pentacles is finding practical use for things. It could also be that it was practical for them to drop this. Maybe because they just don't want to spend the resources chasing it. But this could also be that there's something special underneath all of this that they don't want to lose. So it's possible it's both. Right now, it looks mostly like they hit a dead end. In the past, you got the Hanged Man. I think there were some... Okay, I think... they started the ethics committee. They're looking at him and his weird doings. But honestly, I think there are witnesses that are not testifying because they don't want to be the snitch type of thing. That they... Part of that's Matt Gaetz committing obstruction. He's not letting them get the information. But I think also there are some people whose story who weren't testifying or did not want to testify in front of the ethics committee. They held things back. Probably because part of it might be purely political. That they had such a slim majority in the House that they held back their testimony because they could not afford to lose another person in the House lest the Democrats take control. So this is one of those politics over country type thing. It's more important to rule and have power than to hold your own accountable, because we want to rule at the end of the day. It's interesting because the ethics committee is moving on with it, but I think it's the people in particular that Matt Gaetz would show it to. And you can imagine that the people he's going to show it to are going to be friendly to him. You know what I mean? I don't go to my worst enemy and show him pornographic images on my phone or, webcam images of the girl I was with last night and, hope that they don't get all upset and rat me out. You don't do that. You're sharing that with your friends. So now their friends are in a quandary. What do they do with this guy? Overarching energy is the Moon card. It's almost like their friends pleading the fifth. I don't remember. I can't recall. It's possible he did that. I really don't remember. I don't remember any details. There were a lot of people that weren't remembering a lot of things during the questioning. I don't know how he got that bag of money. I don't even think there was money in there. He said it was full of lettuce. Maybe it really was lettuce and not $100 bills. That sort of thing. The lesson to be learned is the King of Pentacles. I think it's got the Donald Trump bribery type thing. I think Matt Gaetz cut some deals with some friends. A little quid pro quoing. If you obstruct, if you don't quite tell everything that you remember, if you destroy your SIM card and throw away your phone, I'll replace your phone and your SIM card, and I might even throw a dinner at your favorite steakhouse kind of thing here. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of back scratching going on here, but it's also to keep power. Out comes the magician. Basically, I think Matt Gaetz pulled a rabbit out of his hat, or at least they showed the illusion. They covered up what he did, and he managed to pull the rabbit out of his hat with these charges. But there's a small problem, is that them dropping these 4 charges, or the questions they asked, led to other investigations. So while he may have avoided some short-term consequences for those 4 things, it opened up other things that he could be held accountable for. And those things might be a little bit easier to prove or to demonstrate. So, yeah, I think it looks like the Health Ethics Committee hit a roadblock, and it was a roadblock of peers that had divided loyalties and wanted to make sure the Republicans stayed in charge of the House. Now let's get Gaetz' energy right now with regards to these new investigations. Does that have him at all nervous? Or does he think he's going to ride through this into the sunset? Matt Gaetz, what do these new charges mean for him? Matt Gaetz, what do these new... They're not charges, David. They're investigation paths. He's not in a court of law. These new things that they're investigating. Justice card. Okay, that's at least a good solid start. More swords in the pictures here. Cross with the 9 of swords. Here we are, back with the swords again. I think, how is he feeling about these new ones? He might be a bit more stressed. I think what happened is that they went looking and they found stuff that they're pursuing, and he doesn't have a defense against that. And it's these new charges that are very problematic for him, because there's probably enough evidence out there that he can't buy, bribe, or coerce people out of it. You know what I mean? He's stressing out over this new stuff. Speaking of bribing and coercing, the 7 of coins in the background, or in the past here. You know, evaluating his values. I don't think he really does that. Evaluating your money, I think he does do that. Was he sending Venmos to people and now they've got records? That could very well be. I think what happened was they're following a financial trail that he can't hide. He can't cover up. Everybody knows he's got the money bush in his backyard. Current situation is the 3 of Cups. Yeah, I think his opponents, the Kevin McCarthys of the world, are celebrating these new investigations here. I think these new ones, they've got him. They've got him dead to rights here. Yeah, they're looking at money. They're looking at backroom deals. Again, what do we have here with the 3 of coins? Shared inappropriate... No, those are the ones they dropped. Illicit drug use, gifts, obstructing government invocations, and sexual misconduct. Yeah, the conduct is probably with multiple women. Inappropriate gifts. You know, we're not calling them bribes these days. We're downgrading it. But yeah, no, it's just... Yeah. The lesson to be learned, Matt Gaetz has had his victories going after McCarthy and stuff like that, but in the end, justice is catching up with him, and justice is going to have their victory over Matt Gaetz. Part of it is he's so visible that he's an obvious target, and it would be like, sexual misconduct. It's just like these girls know who you are. Even if you gave them a fake name, you're out there. They know who you are. And they, I wonder if sexual misconduct is using prostitutes, for lack of a better description. I wonder if that falls under that. But yeah, there's money exchanges. This is secret money. Now, this is disguising your Venmos to say school books or vacation money or something along those lines. And there we go again. Outcome is the Ten of Swords. Yeah, these new investigations get them. This, to me, looks really obvious that new investigations get him. When do they get them? I don't have a good answer for you on that. Really don't. Knowing, well, and here's the thing. With the Republicans, Matt Gaetz, I'm sure, did not get primaried in his district. I'd have to look it up. It's unlikely he'd be primaried. So it's going to be Matt Gaetz versus somebody else. Will Matt Gaetz beat him in the election? Okay. All right, you convinced me. I was going to say, if he wins the election, you kind of want to toss him out after the election so that there could be a new election and you can get a new candidate in there. If you toss him out before the election, then you have to scramble to get a candidate in there, and now the Democrat has a real leg up on Matt Gaetz. So a little four-parter, will Matt Gaetz win his re-election in November? You got 6 months, 5 months for this. 4.5 months. Will Matt Gaetz win his re-election in November? What I'm saying is I can picture them holding off the ethics committee until basically after election, so that he doesn't get sworn in, and then they have to have a runoff or a new election to elect somebody for that district. Okay, four-carder, will Matt Gaetz win his re-election in November 2024? The star card, calm after the storm. The sun card, wow. Disappointment. Queen of Swords. 9 of Coins. Okay. Calm after the storm. Normally I would say that's a screaming yes card. But there's some heartbreak and disappointment here because the truth is revealed about him and he's going to face the consequences for it. Having to do with women and money. And his lifestyle is probably going to be impacted. So my guess is that the ethics committee will withhold their recommendations until after the election, where he's reelected. But yeah, and then he may not actually get seated, type of thing. I'm not sure how that all is going to work out. That's going to be something that we see. But it looks like, if I were to guess, it looks like he's going to be, well, unless that star card is his star is falling. That would certainly fit, because when you have the truth card, the sun card coming out, let's put it this way. If the truth comes out about him, he's going to face the consequences for that, and that's going to negatively impact his re-election campaign. If that truth is held until after the election, he will be reelected, but then he'll still have to face the consequences. One way or another, Matt Gaetz is facing consequences. The question is, how soon? I don't know. Tarot is not exactly great for timing as far as that goes. But rest assured, Matt Gaetz will be going away. Okay? We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Check out Tarot of the Seven Seas, my international channel, or Twin Tarot with Gary and David, my tarot channel I do with my identical twin brother Gary, where we do things just like this, but we laugh a lot more. and we use more sarcasm. It's a language, and a side dish. Thank you again for all your support on this channel. I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.